What up? Welcome to the Part Timers Podcast. Appreciate you listening and watching. My name is Anthony Shelton, and I am joined by David Burdett and Noah Ansaldua. If you have been a listener to the show, you understand this is a different intro because it's a different time right now. It is Summer Games Fest, and so we are celebrating, and we're going to talk all about Summer Games Fest this entire podcast. There's no apples to apples. There's nothing like that. We're just going to get right into it. But first, just to get these boys' voices warmed up, David, what's a quick feeling you've had about the entire Summer Games Fest so far?
Well, the showcase specifically today is, I'll admit, it felt like it ran a little bit long. Wasn't the best showcase I've seen, but there's some really, really cool games that are there that I can't wait to talk about.
Noah?
It was a big show for horror games. We got the Callisto Protocol, we got Aliens, and we got Goat Simulator 3, which is pretty awesome. And that's my takeaway from it.
I like how you classify Goat Simulator as a horror game. Might be, though. All right, let's get into just everything Summer Games Fest. Everything. So let's start with one of the biggest things that was announced that was also leaked. I'm sorry, Jeff Keighley. That's just how these things go. But The Last of Us Remake has been officially revealed. It is coming in September for the PS5, and it says PC is in development. So I guess it's not coming in September, but apparently shortly after sometime. Who knows what that means? But it looks good. It really does look good. They've shown screenshots, comparisons between The Last of Us Remaster versus this, I guess, The Last of Us Part 1, which is, I guess, now the official name of the first game. So, David, give us some thoughts. What are you thinking?
Well, first off, you got to feel for poor Neil Druckmann because, my word, that guy was bitter up on that stage.
Yeah, I thought the energy was low.
When he referred to their next project, he said, well, unless somebody at PlayStation wants to go ahead and leak that for me.
Oh, I missed that part.
Oh, he was not having it. But man, it's incredible to me that they can take that game and the same vibe you got way back when they showed it off for the PS3, the same, oh my goodness, this looks so good. That's how you feel looking at it right now because they made it look that good. They took, when you look at the side-by-side screenshots, you almost feel like you're looking at a brand new game, just about, with some of the different ways that they've made things look. It obviously, it's still, in the end, it's still The Last of Us. It's still the same game that you played. And I don't know how I feel about it being the full $70, but it does look fantastic what they've done with it.
Is it, Noah, is it too much to ask $70 for The Last of Us Part 1 remake, remaster, whatever? I don't know what this thing is.
I will say that it looks like they're incorporating the DLC that focused on Ellie. So that's nice. You're getting kind of a bigger package than you would have at the $60 cost before, for $70. And, they rebuilt it from the ground up. I'm not a fan of the $70 price point at all. So my gut feeling is no, it's not okay. But I find myself justifying it because it does look really good. It looks so good. And I don't know. I feel like the $70 price point is just not the place that the gaming industry should go. But for single player games like this, big, games like this that aren't built on microtransactions, I do think there should be maybe an exception made for them.
Yep. I feel like the $70, there's a part of me that defends it because games are getting more expensive, yet the price points are not changing at all. But man, sometimes I feel like they're trying to squeeze the $70 because they know the $70 really doesn't work with anybody. So, we'll talk about it later, but Call of Duty is also going $70 for PC, so that's a thing. So, it's I get it. It is expensive, so where are you going to make that money? But my goodness, we can't say they haven't been making money. But in the case of Naughty Dog and The Last of Us, they're not really a microtransaction type of developer.
No.
So I feel like
what you get is usually worth it.
Yes. and I'm not saying a free-to-play game where you pay microtransactions or a battle pass. Like, you find value. People are going to find value wherever they feel like they're going to find value. So I don't want to say like, yeah, The Last of Us, like, that's value and Fortnite is not value.
Mm-hmm.
That's subjective. I understand that. But when Naughty Dog says, hey, we're going to charge $70 for this, it makes more sense because they don't charge microtransactions for anything versus, the Warzone having Call of Duty where they got hundreds of millions of dollars for that and still charging $70. It seems a little less justified in that case. But it does look good. It looks like they put work into making this look so much better. But I'm wondering if, this is already the second remaster of The Last of Us, and I wonder if we're going to get Last of Us fatigue. Do you think we're going to get Last of Us fatigue, David?
I think what we have to remember is this is really for a new audience, especially when you consider the fact that we've got an HBO show coming out, which they also showed one of the first shots for. This is for a new audience that's going to come in appreciating that show and is going to look for. We saw it happen with The Witcher. Everybody went and bought The Witcher when they saw The Witcher TV show. They're going to watch the HBO show. They're going to be like, I want to play The Last of Us. Instead of giving them this obviously last gen game, we give them something completely brand new. And it, like you said, it costs something to make something brand new. This is from the ground up. I don't know if whoever watched the show, but them showing how they did, like talking about just the animation work that they did. They took the same capture, but then had to figure out, okay, we got to build the animation around it. So there's a lot of work that went into this. So like you said, I don't like it, but I understand it.
All right. That was The Last of Us. Did I miss anything there?
I don't think so.
$70. Oh,
besides the fact that the multiplayer.
Right. There is going to be a multiplayer, and it's going to be a standalone multiplayer. So that was my other problem with the $70 price point. It doesn't come with the original multiplayer. I understand why, and I knew they were going to make this standalone multiplayer, but still, it feels not as great, because that was the reason why I played The Last of Us for as long as I did. I'm sorry. I don't think The Last of Us is really all that great from a gameplay standpoint. The story is fantastic. Gameplay is mediocre. So, but the multiplayer, that was really good. It was like Assassin's Creed. It's like, this isn't going to work. And then it's like, oh, this kind of works. I really like this. This is good. So they're expanding on the multiplayer. I haven't been able to get much details on it. It's part-timers podcast for a reason. It was working. David, I know you were able to sit down and spend some time with this stuff. What details do you have?
Didn't get necessarily a ton because they aren't ready to talk a lot about it, but it sounds like it's going to be a very large area that you are operating in. If you look at the one screenshot that they showed, which was their concept art, if you kind of look down at the elements, it looks like we're going to be doing PvPvE, so player versus infected
environment.
It looks like there's a lot of weather effects that you can see from that concept art. Everything I have heard about this before now is that they are going for one of the most they have a very ambitious goals with this multiplayer with what they are building. So if there's a team out there that wants to take multiplayer and change the genre, so to speak, do whatever the next battle royale is, I could see Naughty Dog doing it because they have they love their craft and they want to make the next big thing.
Yeah, I don't even know if this is going to be battle royale. It doesn't sound like that. It sounds like an expansion.
I mean the next big genre that we would be looking at, like how battle royale hit the scene and everybody wanted to be it. That's what I think they're trying to do.
Well, I wonder how much this is going to differ from something like, the survival crafting games. I guess stuff like DayZ. So like, I just wonder how much this is going to deviate, because to me, it feels like it could be an expanded version of what they already did with the multiplayer, which was already crafting. It's just not as arena style. as it was. So I don't know what the end goal is. I guess once we get what the end goal is, if it's not like be the last, set of survivors
Be
standing
the last
or
of
something.
us.
Right. If it's not be the last of us, then I'm curious what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Because that screenshot, it's not screenshot, sorry. It's a good piece of concept art. I get a lot of inspiration of which is what concept art's supposed to do. And I look at that and go, oh yeah, like you got people on a balcony, you got people on the ground, you got the infected, you got the San Francisco Bridge in the background. Like you can go a lot of places. So it'd be interesting, like what the end goal is, or does it end? Like how does this work? No, you got any thoughts?
Yeah, like so that concept art that we were talking about and the alt text, it drew my attention to something I didn't like pay attention to at the beginning. Is that like it says the cityscape in the distance looks far more serene. So to me, that says if you're a faction that's like powerful, you can maybe carve out like a place for yourself. You can maybe like start to have a settlement that grows, and like you can maybe push back against all this chaos. So that's interesting to me, and maybe that speaks to like an end goal of like ending all this chaos, or like reigning supreme over it. I don't know, but I do think it could be like something really interesting and really cool, like leading raids into other people's like environments or camps would be awesome, and then like having to like battle a clicker like horde on the way back. Like there could be like some really cool stuff going on here. And I feel like with these types of games, they always, or like survival games, they always have like really cool moments, but they never feel like as cinematic as a Naughty Dog experience could. So like marrying those two things together could be really, really cool.
That makes me think about Red Dead Online a little bit in terms of how it's an kind of eternal kind of space. So it might not be, in my mind, I'm thinking it's going to be more of what The Last of Us multiplayer originally was, but bigger with more people and maybe like some extra stuff to do. But the way you're talking about it, Noah, I'm like, it would be more Naughty Dog to go bigger than that and turn it into this eternal experience where maybe you do choose a faction and maybe there's 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever, and you are trying to maybe take over the most territory, so you have the most supplies for survival, and maybe it almost takes on this like MMO type of deal where you and the faction you choose are like this one big army of people, and you're trying to be, and maybe not even necessarily become the biggest army, but like you're trying to survive.
Yeah.
And there's different things that happen that can hurt your survival, whether it's the infected, whether it's other people, NPCs, whatever the case may be. That actually does sound really interesting.
And they did say it's going to have a story. So that's the other interesting thing.
So, yeah, there's probably going to be NPCs in there that you could just talk to, and maybe they screw you over, and maybe it has ramifications for your camp. Who knows? But I don't know. Like the possibilities are really interesting to me.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's move on to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. That was technically announced yesterday, but they put out a trailer today that showed some gameplay. And David, you are our resident Call of Duty guy. So they put out a 7-minute gameplay trailer. David, how did you feel about it?
So, spoiler, I actually saw at least half of that gameplay trailer already.
We know.
And that I kept saying, I remember just it was the best looking trailer of all the campaign footage we had seen. It brought me back to Call of Duty 4 when you get on the ship on the wet work mission and the very first mission. those were the vibes that I'm getting. Everything just looks so good in it. And the craziest thing is every single thing you have seen, every single thing that I have seen, where I've seen all this other stuff, all pre-alpha footage.
That was pre-alpha?
Everything they're showing is pre-alpha. They designated that in front of everything. They said this is pre-alpha. So not everything is finished with what they have actually showed us. So it can only look better from here. Now, does it look much different than a Call of Duty game? No. But it looks like Modern Warfare. That's all that matters in my mind is, does it look like Modern Warfare 2019? It looks like Modern Warfare 2019. That, in my opinion, is one of the best Call of Duty games we've ever gotten. All I want is more of that. Looks like they're giving us more of that.
No, what are your thoughts?
David put it right. It looks like more Call of Duty. So, like, while it looks really great, it doesn't grip me in any way. Like, that gets me really excited for it. Yeah, I don't have a lot of thoughts on this other than, like...
So, when did you stop playing Call of Duty?
I stopped playing at, like, Black Ops 2. I didn't even finish that campaign. Okay. I just said, I don't know. Yeah.
Same for me, for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I played Modern Warfare 2019 and enjoyed that. So I was looking forward to this, and it looks like more of what 2019 brought. I am curious to know, when you are reimagining a franchise as big as Modern Warfare, what do you take away from the original in order to reimagine the new? And I was trying to find that in this, and I couldn't, but what I saw was still exciting. But I wonder what in this version of Modern Warfare 2 is a callback, inspired, whatever the case may be, from the original Modern Warfare 2. Modern Warfare 2 is my favorite Call of Duty, and that game just went all out with it went all out from top to bottom. Had the most, terrifying moment. United States is on fire, basically. Things went down in that game, and I'm not getting the sense that this is following in that track, maybe setting up for that for Modern Warfare 3, because I thought the original Modern Warfare 3 didn't quite hit the same peak as Modern Warfare 2, which I don't know how it could have, because Modern Warfare 2 went all crazy big in the first place. But maybe that's the difference here. They are pacing it a little bit better. So, it's bigger stakes than the Modern Warfare 2019, but it's not quite the peak of the original Modern Warfare 2. So that way they can go somewhere else for Modern Warfare 3.
Which, in the storyline, so to speak, this Modern Warfare 2 is taking place in more of the setting and timeline of Call of Duty 4.
Okay.
Because Modern Warfare 19 would be seen more as a prequel to that, since Task Force 141 doesn't exist.
Oh,
right. There's a lot of people who actually think this probably matches up a lot more, because they even bring up, in one of the things that they brought up with us when they were talking with us about the campaign, was there will be a mission where you and Price are in ghillie suits taking sniper shots. And what mission do we remember that from?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
One of the most famous, and in my mind, one of the best Call of Duty campaign missions in all Gillied Up. So they may be reimagining that. That might be why we've got this ship mission here that's from Call of Duty 4, feeling like. It's the timeline, so they're reimagining a lot of levels while inserting new stuff.
That makes more sense. Thank you for reminding me of that. Yeah. I forgot Task Force 141 wasn't in the original 2019 one. So, so that reminds me. Okay, yeah. So this is it's reimagined, but it is still kind of in the same era.
Same characters, same timeline, new stakes.
Yeah. So it's a different angle.
Yep.
And probably by the time we get to Modern Warfare 3, we'll probably recognize some scenarios that was like, oh yeah, I remember doing it this way in the, whatever, Call of Duty 4 or Modern Warfare 2, whatever the case may be. But now we're seeing it through a different lens.
I always describe it as like the MCU. Like, it's different than the comics. It's a different universe than the comics. So this is like the same Call of Duty. It's just another universe of Call of Duty.
Yeah. Very close, though. It seems like
very similar things happening. Just like I said, and it's the multiverse, the COD multiverse.
Yes. So it is coming to Steam.
Yes.
Modern Warfare 2.
Oh, I'm excited about that.
So, why would they be abandoning BattleNet at this point, David?
I see less abandoning BattleNet and realizing how many extra random sales they will get through Steam, because it's Steam. Everybody loves buying stuff there. Might as well throw it up there, see if you can get a couple extra bites on it. What's going to be really cool is we don't usually see the BattleNet sales at all. So we're going to be able to track player counts and all that kind of stuff through Steam now. So we're going to see some very interesting data through Steam. I know it's stuff I'm excited and more stuff I'm excited about with numbers, but in the long run, like, it's more the fact of cast the wide net. The wider the net, the more fish you have a chance of bringing in, and going back to Steam is a good chance of casting that net.
Yeah, I said abandoning. I didn't mean to.
Yeah.
They're still going to put it on BattleNet. But they are also including Steam. Noah, do you have any thoughts?
My thoughts on the Steam, it being on Steam is more centered around the price that it's going to be on Steam, and PC in general. That it will be $70 on that platform. We were talking about this just now with Last of Us, but when it comes to a game like Modern Warfare 2 that is monetized like crazy, I don't know if $70 is a fair price point for that game. Just because you can't really play Call of Duty seriously without getting the season passes so you can get those guns, or just like you can't get the full experience without buying into the service model.
You can. Those guns are part of the free battle pass.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, you do not have to purchase. They do not put that stuff in the paywall.
Okay, then what is paywall?
Paywall is cosmetics, COD points, XP boosts, that kind of stuff. They don't put the guns. They don't put the guns behind it. They don't put the perks behind it that they've done. The other thing I'd mention is this game will run for 2 years, meaning they have to support it for 2 years with seasons. So,
yeah. So I don't also buy that argument that it's a 2-year game, so it's got to be more expensive.
Which I'm not saying that's the reason. They were raising it last year, so.
Right. Yeah, I just don't buy that as justification, regardless if it's a reason or not. And because of that, and because of the fact that they do have a robust monetization model that people do buy into regardless of if you have to or not, I don't know that the $70 is justified, because I was talking about Last of Us, with it being justified because it's a single player game. It's a one and done, and they're putting this much effort into rebuilding everything. And with Modern Warfare 2, I just don't know that it's justified. So our season, our maps, also just given to everyone
maps
for free?
Are completely free. Okay. They're just part
maps
of
have
the
been
season.
free for a while.
Yeah. The only way that they can wall off some guns is that they are walled off behind challenges, which those are free. But obviously you have the option of buying the gun as a blueprint in order to just forego having to do a challenge for it.
Okay.
Which challenges would be don't die and get a 5 kill streak in 15 games or something like that.
Yeah.
So the other thing I would say, at least when it comes to Modern Warfare's price, it's because it's Modern Warfare, baby. That's why they're raising the price.
Yeah, it's
because
just that
because they figure people will be willing to pay whatever they want to get Modern Warfare. we wouldn't be having this discussion for Vanguard.
Yeah, it's a worrying trend though, and it will set the standard for future Modern Warfare games. Battlefield 2042 cost $70. It shouldn't have. It probably shouldn't have even released. And I just feel like that's just going to be the problem going forward. Is like it's going to set a standard because it's Call of Duty. So every other game developer is going to say, yeah, $70 is what we're going to charge for this, whether you like it or not. And that's, I don't know.
In all fairness, that's where a lot of people are going though. Already, I know we all are kind of mixed on 70, but unfortunately, that's just where the industry's going in general.
Yep. Sorry, I'm over here looking. Y'all probably like, what the frick is going on?
You get yourself looking as pretty as you can over there.
No, it's it's summertime over here basically, and it's real hot where I'm at, so I got all kind of bugs attracted to my lights, which I did not expect. So apologize for my screen over here getting all crazy. All right, let's talk some Xbox because Xbox put out a lot of news. Let's first talk about the fact that they're going to put Game Pass on year 2022 Samsung TVs. So that's pretty much the news. It will. It's starting with any Samsung smart TV. It's been made in the year 2022. Download an app off the TV. Open up the app and play your games, and you can connect any Bluetooth controller to the TV and play games. It's all through the cloud. You won't be downloading it like you would on console, but you don't have to buy an Xbox. You don't have to buy a PC. You just have a TV, and if you already got one, boom, there goes the app. So, Noah, how do you feel about this?
Yeah, I think what you just said summarizes how I feel. Like, you don't have to have a box. Xbox is doing the thing that they've been doing, and they're moving their ecosystem just outside of their box. And you don't have to buy the $300 Series S. You don't have to do anything except just download the app, and that's awesome. I think that's going to be a great lowering of the barrier to entry to the Xbox ecosystem, even more so than they've already been doing. And I don't see a negative to this. It's probably going to get at least like a good chunk of people into that ecosystem, and it might even get some casual gamers or like people who haven't really considered gaming hooked into the experience. And I see it as part of their strategy to break out of just the box itself.
David, and you can answer this after. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think it makes sense. I don't know that it goes after what they're wanting, which is engagement. They don't care about sales numbers at this point. They care about engagement. They care about trying to get you hooked on Game Pass so that you will get a subscription set up. It's just in more places. I don't know that the issue you do run into, admittedly, is the people who are going to be buying those TVs largely are going to be the people who already have a box a lot of the time, so it's just going to be an extra feature for them. So I don't know that it's going to have a broad mass appeal, but it's nice. It gets you. The only negative that is there is that if somebody doesn't have great internet, so literally this is a win-win for Samsung and for Xbox. In hey, we get to say Xbox is on our TVs, and you get to sell subscriptions. There's no loss. It's just extra people. I don't think it's a main focus of them or a thing that's just replaces the box, but it certainly is them stepping into, hey, we've got this capability. Let's take advantage of it.
I will say that I do think there are a lot of people with Samsung smart TVs that do not have Xboxes, though. Like, there are probably a good chunk of people without Xboxes.
Oh, I'm pretty sure, especially with the chip shortages.
Yep.
Just not being able to get one. Noah, do you think this is a move, or how do you think this will benefit Microsoft?
Like David said, it'll drive engagement for sure. People, and I think it will probably convince at least a few people into getting an Xbox to see like more of the experience. Because I do think this is going to like be like largely targeting people who are not Xbox players, like traditionally. And I think that they're going to see, a big benefit in in downloading the app, or in people downloading the app and getting people to come into it. I'm also interested to see like how Xbox now has access to, King. So I wonder how they'll incorporate like mobile games into this, and if they'll like put mobile games onto the TVs and like allow that through Xbox in some way, because that would also be a great way to just get more people on Game Pass in like that way. Like give them like extra spins on the Candy Crush wheel or whatever. I don't know.
It's a great point.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that one. All right, what was the other piece of news? Project Morecraft is a new initiative by Xbox that will give Game Pass members free demos. And basically what's going down with this is Microsoft is incentivizing developers by paying them to put their demos on there. Developers will be able to look at analytics, different things like that. I imagine they're doing this because demos traditionally tank game sales, so Microsoft is trying to supplement these demos by, giving developers a financial incentive for doing it. But my question is, with this, how useful is putting demos on Game Pass when just putting a game on Game Pass is already basically your kind of demo, and you get the full game? Noah, what do you think?
I think for Game Pass members, they're just going to be happy to have more games to access, and the fact that it's like an indie, it's a focus on indie developers. So the fact that they're getting their games out there to be more exposed to different audiences is really great. And then the other thing that I want to mention is that like games that are released on Game Pass are usually like their sales aren't really that hurt by the fact that they're on Game Pass. So, like, it can only be a positive. They'll have access to all these analytics. They'll know like what demographics are playing the games. I think it's a great tool for indie developers, and I think it's great that they're getting paid for it just to put a demo out. I think exposure and game discovery is a big part of Game Pass, like consumer wise. So, I'm a fan of this move. I slack on playing a lot of indie games that have been coming out the past few years, and getting the chance to like demo them in bite size like setting is probably going to be really encouraging to me, to like incentivize me to actually just try it out for a little bit. I don't have to like commit to playing the whole game. So yeah.
David?
And I don't if the game is already coming to Game Pass, it makes absolutely no sense in my mind. Maybe you get a little bit of analytics. Maybe you capture some people's attention a little bit more on the game that is coming to Game Pass. But otherwise, if the full game's already coming, then it's going to be there. You're getting paid for it. You're having to divert resources away from your game to make a demo. And obviously, we don't know how much the incentive is. The incentive could make it worth it. I would assume that a lot of these incentives are for developers that are not just dropping their game on Game Pass for this. This is a way to incorporate, hey, you don't want to bring your game to Game Pass. That's cool. We want you to put your demo on ours, because what they're wanting is, hey, we can get PlayStation's already getting a point where, hey, we've got free game trials. You can play this, you can start this game on your system, and then if you like it, you can buy it. So what Xbox is trying to do, at least in my mind here, is, hey, let's get you playing on your Xbox and go ahead and move your progress into that full purchase so that we get that 30%. And then the developer gets the money from the sale as well. So that's at least the way I look at it. Is it's an engagement play. PlayStation's doing it for the engagement and the money that they're going to get out of those trials. Xbox just wants to make sure they chase down that road too.
I was trying to figure out what the incentive was. That makes more sense. I was beginning to wonder if this was going to be something that any player could access, whether they actually had Game Pass or not. You would just have to maybe go through the Game Pass, section of Xbox or the app now on Samsung TVs in order to access these demos. But it would be more like Fortnite in that you don't need a Game Pass membership to access these demos, but the way you explain it, David, that makes more sense from a strategic standpoint, because I'm like,
Yep.
Yeah, if you're going to put the game on Game Pass, it doesn't make
There's no point.
any sense.
It's
at all,
resources
so-
you're diverting to make it for money that you're losing in development.
Yeah, so glad you thought about it, because I didn't get the
more
chance
of the
to.
trials. Like, this is a paid bonus for Game Pass. Like, it's a Game Pass Ultimate bonus, just like PlayStation's doing with trials.
Yes. Okay. I'm for the move now. I don't know how many demos I'll actually play, but I'm for the move. And I guess that's a kind of a problem too that I see. There's so many games.
Yep.
Why play a demo? But unless it's a game you are really interested in, and maybe that's the point.
That's not coming to Game Pass. Exactly.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Maybe that's just the point. Like, it's never going to come to Game Pass, more than likely, unless it's like years down the line or something. They've already had their sales. They've already had their success, whatever. It's dwindling down. Okay, let's put it on Game Pass now. The people who haven't played it can play it now. But yeah, if it's somebody like me who I don't know what it could be, but maybe this is an interesting looking RTS, and I hate RTSs, but you know what? This one looks interesting. I'm going to try it. And then it turns out to be good. It's like, oh man, this is the only RTS I'm ever going to play. Sure, I'll buy it. That sounds way more appealing. All right. There were a lot more announcements.
A lot.
Just all through Summer Games Fest. So let us just talk about the different things. IGN put out a exhaustive article of everything that was announced through the Summer Game Fest day, I guess. I don't know what to call it. But we've already talked about The Last of Us, but Street Fighter 6, that was announced 2 days ago, I believe.
Yep.
So that looks good, number one. Kind of wanted to talk about that, but then everything started happening, and then it was like... So, I'm just going to say, Street Fighter 6 looks fantastic. I love the whole open world thing that they're doing. Or not even open world thing, but more story mode thing that they're doing. I'm hoping it acts more like a dojo of sorts that is more exhaustive for training new people or training people who haven't played Street Fighter in a while to prepare them to play online or play at a harder difficulty, whatever the case may be, to get used to it. But I have heard, and I haven't confirmed this myself from any reading, but I've heard that they are allowing you to simplify button combinations so you don't have to, do the Shoryuken motion or the Hadouken motion or, whatever the case may be. So that way it's easier for you to get in and fight. I don't know if that
Electric connects people.
Yeah, well, no, not that. Well, when I talk about Shoryuken motion, I'm talking about the buttons you have to press in order to activate Shoryuken. We know fighting game terminology can get a little different, so I'll try to refrain from using those terminologies as I like my fighting games. But I'm talking about simplifying as much as like, pressing the shoulder button and the B button or the square button. And
like command inputs of like quarter circles and things like that too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You could just press like two buttons instead of trying to do the whole stick motion. So obviously I imagine, there's going to be some pushback on that, but that's easy to fix. Evo people, y'all pros and stuff, you don't have to worry about that, because all you have to do is say you can't use that during Evo or during fighting game tournaments. Let the people agreement. Gentleman's agreement. These are part of the rules. Just add it into the rule book. No problem. Everybody has to play Street Fighter as original. Fantastic. It's still going to be fun to watch. For people like myself who I don't get to play as much, but I have the game sense to be able to play against other people. I just don't have the thumb work to be able to keep up. This allows me to enjoy the game more. I'm going to lose sometimes, of course, but at least I'm not losing because I can't input the commands properly. Now I get to lose just because we had a good fight and I lost, or I got stomped and I just lost because I didn't have the right strategy against the person. Like that's what I'd rather think about when I play Street Fighter, because I love Street Fighter's push and pull, tug of war kind of fighting. It's not as crazy as Smash, and I just love the mind games, the footsies, all of it. It's good. So
hopefully this will also help with accessibility for people that deal with disabilities.
Yes, very much so. So now they get to just play the game. Like, forget online. Like, you just play the game. So it's fantastic. If that is true, I am glad that is there. Because there are some moves where I'm just going to do it because that's how I know how to do it. Circle motions, all that stuff. But there are other moves. It's like, this is like trying to pull off a Mortal Kombat fatality. Like, I'm really not trying to like learn all these button motions and combinations. So, but today was announced that Guile is returning. And for those who don't know, Street Fighter 6, there's going to be, it's kind of like a passing of the baton. They've shown Ryu and Chun-Li, but they're much older now, and they're kind of like teachers almost. So there's a lot of new people. But Guile is returning. So I'll just read what it says on IGN. It says, the new gameplay trailer for Street Fighter 6 has revealed that Guile will be returning for the latest entry of the legendary fighting franchise. In the new footage, we see Guile fighting Luke, which is one of the new characters, and Ryu in an updated version of his Air Force Base stage. So I don't know what you guys' thoughts on Street Fighter, but Noah, how do you feel about this cross between, teachers, but yet we're still getting characters like Guile?
It feels kind of like, Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Like we have to have the moment of passing the baton, and then we get to really dive into these characters. Kind of like also Mortal Kombat 10 and 11. So that's interesting. And other than that, I don't have much to say. I'm not a Street Fighter type of guy. Oh.
Yeah, I'm not as much of a fighting game person myself, but just the fact that they're making it so that more casual fans are going to have an easier time to jump in and not necessarily be gatekept from being able to play the game. And that making your game more approachable to everyone is always a good thing. Even if all you're doing is just giving options for it, because that way there's something from everybody. You got the hard, like you said, the hardcore pros. Maybe eventually we'll get like a ranked mode or whatnot. That's where they'll go and they'll play the heck out of it. But then you have everybody else just duking it out online, just having fun.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like the depth is sacrificed at all.
Yep.
So while it's more accessible, it's still deep. All right. Aliens Dark Descent was announced, and according to this headline, it'll bring players face to face with xenomorphs once more, and sometime in 2023. So it says brand new game set in the universe of the Alien franchise will be arriving in 2023. We didn't learn much about the game, but a cinematic trailer revealed the tone of what players can expect. The trailer ends with Marines fighting xenomorphs from a top-down perspective, potentially hinting at what the gameplay will look like. David, you were nodding your head like, okay, aliens, let's go. How are you feeling?
It looks really good. I know our editor-in-chief, Ron Burke, is going to be the most excited about it because he's a humongous Aliens fan, loves the franchises. This one's going to be really interesting because it's a top-down perspective. I'm assuming you're controlling different characters. It almost kind of looked a bit like XCOM. So I'm curious as to if it's action-based, if it's tactics-based, how they're going about it. But all I know is it's aliens. We love having aliens in our lives. It's a lot of fun to watch the xenomorphs do their thing. So it's just good to see that franchise come back and thrive right now, because Fireteam Elite, whole lot of fun, and this hopefully will continue in its footsteps.
Noah?
Yeah, it looks interesting. I think the story of it could be really good. The kind of beginning of this trailer has a lot of good alien lighting and alien, type creatures before we see the xenomorphs even. And I'm excited to see how they dive into that. Yeah, it's definitely on my radar.
All right, let's move on to the Callisto Protocol. According to IGN, the Callisto Protocol is promising to be one of the scariest games ever, and the first extended gameplay footage confirms it is well on the way to making that nightmare a reality. The gameplay demo, we see brutal deaths from not only the enemies, but also our main character. It also looks to feature limbs, that will fall off a la Dead Space. They will fall off a la Dead Space. There we go. So, sorry. The Callisto Protocol will be released on December 2nd this year. Noah, before we started this podcast, you mentioned your hype, I suppose, about the Callisto Protocol. What are your thoughts?
I'm super hyped. I think it's going to be like really interesting to compare this to the Dead Space remake that comes out like really shortly after, and just see, all right, did the old Dead Space devs make a better Dead Space game than the people EA hired? And that's going to be interesting. Also, this game looks so like Dead Space, it's insane. Like even down to the like HUD being on the back of his neck with his health monitor. I think it really captures the atmosphere that I'm looking for in a deep space horror game. I also like the fights are brutal. The death scene of the main character is like insane. It's like straight out of The Boys or Mortal Kombat fatalities. It's actually insane to watch.
It's nasty.
And it does everything I wanted to. I never actually rolled credits on Dead Space 1 or 2, but I did put a lot of time into Dead Space 2. So I'm excited to actually play this game all the way through when it comes out. And really everything about it is just like right up my alley. This is like what I want an Alien game to be. For some reason, Isolation was just too much for me. It didn't speak to me. But this is everything I want in this kind of game.
Yeah, what's really funny is watching EA get Dante's Inferno'd, because Dante's Inferno was literally a ripoff of God of War.
Yeah.
If you've ever played that game or looked, down to getting health, it was the exact same thing. And now we're watching as this game just literally is Dead Space. There's not a much of difference to it. And then we got Dead Space Remake coming out like a month and a half afterwards. It's comedy, but at the same point, they both look good. It's not a bad thing to have two great games coming out. So it's not for me, but man, when he got caught in that fan, I was just I was sitting here listening to Noah watch the video, and I heard him like react. I was like, "Oh, you got to where he got caught in the fan, huh?" You could tell that is nasty. It's disgusting. It's everything a Dead Space fan would want.
Happy for the Dead Space fans. All right, Layers of Fear was also a thing. Bloober Team has confirmed it is working on Layers of Fear, a new psychedelic horror chronicle made in Unreal Engine 5 that is pitched as somewhat of a remaster and a sequel that will build on the foundations of the original Layers of Fear, which was Layers of Fear Inheritance and Layers of Fear 2. It will also include an expanded plotline and gameplay direction. Noah, you were excited about the horror. This is another horror, so are you feeling every layer of fear?
I haven't played any Layers of Fear. I didn't play the Medium when it came out. It's also by Bloober. But
so
I did
this is on your list of things to watch out for.
I'm not sure it is.
Okay. I misread your excitement of all the horror.
You did. I'm really excited for Callisto, and that's kind of compensating for everything else. And the Goat Simulator 3 trailer was really great. But Layers of Fears, already it's a bad name. In my opinion, it's a bad name. And then also the things I have heard about like the Medium and kind of how it deals with its subject matter isn't my cup of tea necessarily. And so I'm not like super hyped. I am like willing to be like convinced of this. But also the other thing is that I like survival horror a lot. Like I like where I feel like I have somewhat of a fighting chance, like to do things. And I feel like this isn't the type of game that lets you do things. It's kind of the type of game that lets you like do puzzles and like move on. Because that's like what Blueberry does really well. And like the Callisto Protocol, it's like, okay, you have all these tools, and like, yeah, you can still get killed pretty easily, and like you're underpowered compared to like a first-person shooter, like a typical one. But the types of games like Layers of Fear, like Amnesia, like Outlast, those are not my types of games, because I like the power fantasy. I like a little bit of the power fantasy. I'm a Destiny player. You got to give me something. So yeah.
Fair enough.
I have no interest in horror games, really. It's just like Alan Wake 2 is going to be about the furthest I'm going to go into that area. But especially when you're building this in Unreal 5, everything already looks way too good on that engine. I do not need a horror game coming through Unreal 5.
I do not blame you. I'm not a horror person either. A new trailer for Marvel's Midnight Suns has not only revealed Spider-Man will be joining its roster, but it also confirmed the XCOM style game will be released on October 7th this year. The trailer also featured the main villain Lilith and corrupted versions of Venom, Sabretooth, Scarlet Witch, and the Hulk. David, you are the Marvel guy. Noah, you like Marvel too, but
I mean,
David can't stop talking about Marvel. So, how you feel about Marvel's Midnight Suns?
Xbox is finally getting Spider-Man.
Oh, true.
They even made the joke themselves on Twitter, so it's not just me saying it. Although, unfortunately, it is just a card-based. It's not my style. I think it looks really cool, but the whole card-based battle system thing is just not me. And that's fine. I keep saying it looks great for fans of that. It does. If you are a fan of those kind of battle systems and you like Marvel, you're probably going to love this because it looks really good. Everything we've seen of it looks good.
Fair enough. I seen a teeny bit of it. I didn't watch the full trailer, but I didn't know it was a card-based battle system. So, I am more intrigued. I'm one of those people. Now I am more intrigued.
There you go.
Don't get me wrong. I'll take an action style, Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse and all that stuff. Although I know Midnight Suns is not just Spider-Man. Point being, I do like the card-based sound of this. So, to be fair, a lot of these Marvel games have been good. Traditionally comic book related games have not been good, but so far DC and Marvel have been knocking it out the park, and it looked like they will continue to knock it out the park. So I'm looking forward to try something different that brings Marvel closer to me, where I'm not the biggest Marvel fan. I'm more of a DC person. Noah, you got any thoughts?
Yeah, I kind of like combat sometimes. It's like usually really hit or miss for me, and then has to click and hit like a certain tone for me. So I hope this is one that hits that, and the Marvel flavoring might give it that for me. It might be the thing that pushed over the edge. So I'm excited for it. I'm pretty sure Lilith, the main villain, is like a new character they created just for the game. She looks confident. She looks sassy. She looks awesome, and she's like walking with that confident like hip sway, and she looks like she owns this whole battlefield as soon as she walks onto it. That's exciting. And then the the corrupted Hulk. Also, that design looks really crazy. Like the corrupted versions of everyone, like Venom.
Venom looks ridiculous.
Venom looks insane. Venom looks awesome.
It's easy to make Venom look insane, though. So
that's true, but he's crazy. Like they're going off on the character design here. You can tell they're like upping the ante on all these characters. So I'm really excited.
All right, TMNT Shredder's Revenge will officially be released on June 16th, 2022. That is next week?
Next week.
Friday. This news was revealed, next Thursday. Next Thursday, yeah. This news was revealed in a new trailer that also confirmed Casey Jones as a playable character and a new 6-player mode for the beat 'em up. David, what are your thoughts?
Amazing. Like, I was already super excited about this game. It looks fantastic. I'm a huge fan of the Scott Pilgrim versus the World game. Super happy that got a re-release finally. And now they're doing a Turtles game. Equally awesome. Even more awesome. Not just 2-player, 3-player, 4-player co-op, 6 players. Obviously, they've got to show that it can be done right. They got to make sure everything works good on the screen or whatnot, but it's online and available in local co-op. So that's big wins. The other big win is it's coming day one to Game Pass. So all kinds of people are going to be able to play this one. It's just great all around.
I hope it has crossplay.
Yes, hopefully. I don't know that that's actually been said at all, so it may not.
It hasn't. This is one game I have been keeping up with. It hasn't. So, I am reviewing the game, and I'm reviewing it on PC. That's as much as I can say. But I would like to be able to play with those who have it on, or who are playing on Game Pass day one, or whoever has it day one. I would love to do that. So if crossplay is available, that would be fantastic. But I am looking forward to this game. I have some concerns, but I think it'll be good. Based on everything else Dotemu's been doing, and my love for Streets of Rage, I think they'll be fine. I'm hoping. I'm hoping. This will be good for you, David. Saints Row Boss Factory is a new app that will let players create and save up to 6 character designs that can then be used for the full Saints Row game when it is released on August 23rd, 2022. And I'm still reading from IGN, by the way. David, you did, I believe, a preview for this new Saints Row. How are you feeling about the idea where they release a new app where you can just create your customized character now?
I mean, to me, this is about as good as a demo, right? You get to go in, you'll probably spend hours messing around with all this, and then game comes out, you're like, oh, hey, I already built my character. I can go ahead and just launch right in. And then you'll still spend probably another 2 hours manipulating the character anyway. I feel like this is a very effective form of demo, because you're not actually playing the game, you're just creating your character. So it's more of a marketing move, a good marketing move, because I just get to see customization as opposed to, oh, I don't like the feel of how this plays, or I don't like this, I don't like this. No, you're just creating your character. You're getting people hyped, excited of, hey, this is what I can do with this character. There's so much that I can change and equip with them. So I think it's actually a pretty effective way of utilizing a demo-like system.
I definitely didn't expect this ever from anybody. I
feel like someone's done it before.
I swear Saints Row the Third did it.
Somebody did a character creator.
Oh, was it Saints Row the Third?
Before, I think.
I swear they did it before, like Saints Row specifically.
Yeah, I don't remember, but I mean, okay. A couple of people, a few developers have done it before. But I feel like for them, this is... I would still like to see more, because we haven't seen that much. So, cool. We get to mess with your custom creator, which you say you could pretty much dang near create freaking anything. So,
just about.
So, I mean, the fact that you say that and now you just put out this custom creator demo that's supposed to be exactly like what the game is, that to me that spells confidence. Otherwise, I'm still a little concerned about the gameplay part. Is that really going to work? Because when I was watching your preview, David, I was like, okay, it's Saints Row. And we still really haven't seen that much, so we've seen more than Starfield, that's for sure. But it's It's not saying much. I'll say that. So, Noah, how do you feel?
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's really cool. It kind of reminds me of the Sunset Overdrive character customizer because I felt like that one was really good. With how in depth you could get, and this one looks like you can get even more depth. Uh, and yeah, I swear this was like a thing in Saints Row the Third or or the fourth one maybe.
I'm
Because I
almost
feel
sure
like
that
I
it
did this
was in one
exact
of them.
same thing, and it's gonna work really well for this. And I do like the idea of it because like when I'm like sitting down, I to play a game for the first time, I kind of just like go quickly and I don't really focus on my character creation that much because I just want to dive into the game. Um, but like my stepbrother, when he plays a game and I'm watching him for the first time, I'm like, oh my god, can you just like get through this so that I can like watch you play? Because this is so boring. So like, yeah, I like it because you'll be able to I'll be able to like dive in and put time into creating character before I hop into it if I do. But yeah, I might be more likely to if I invest time into creating a character first.
I'm gonna make a YouTube video, and I'm gonna start with just doing all the detail, custom creation. But I'm gonna make it Noah. I'm have his face on the screen. I'm gonna try to create Noah. That should keep you entertained.
That should.
The long-awaited Cuphead, the delicious last course is almost here, as it will be released on June 30th. During the Summer Games Fest showcase, we were treated to a look at gameplay from Delicious Last Course starring new character Miss Chalice. More Cuphead is a good thing, I would say. Noah, what would you say?
I would
more
say
Cuphead good?
I would say probably. I need to play Cuphead still. That's a glaring hole on my to playlist. I love the style of it. And, Chalice rhymes with Callus, who's my boy in Destiny, so I'm probably going to have a lot of fun.
There you go. No, it looks so good. It's still, it looks like Cuphead, but Cuphead has its art style so dialed in. It is a beautiful looking game. I love the art style, love the way the animation works. I don't know how they pull that off, but they do it, and it looks fantastic. And it still looks just as difficult. And yeah, I can't wait to play it. David?
Cuphead is one of those games where it's like I absolutely love the style, I love the music, I love everything about it, and then I start playing it and I get mad.
It's a hard game.
Yeah. I don't know that I will grab it right off the bat, but I certainly think it merits anyone who likes that game to pick it up because more of that game is fantastic. It kind of blows my mind how long it's taken them to get this out. Like,
yeah, that's true.
It feels like it's taken them longer to get this out than the actual original game itself. I understand COVID happened and there's issues that you run into, but they were having issues with getting this DLC out long before COVID.
Fair. Neon White, the stylish card-based shooter and platformer, will be released on June 16th this year. Developed by Donut County, creator Ben Esposito, Neon White will be available on both PC and the Nintendo Switch. I didn't get to watch the gameplay of this, but I've heard a lot of people talking about this. Do any of you have anything on this, even though it's another card-based?
Don't have much, but man, it looks unique.
Okay. Yeah, like the anime cutscenes look really dope. The gameplay itself looks really cool. This looks like one of those games that like card-based action is going to speak to me because this is like fast-paced card-based action. This looks dope. I really like the idea because I feel like every new game is just like a mishmash of the things that have come before. And the fact that they are combining these two things, card based with like FPS, is really cool. Didn't one of y'all play Donut County?
I did a little bit. It's very stylish as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm excited.
All right. Alongside confirming that Amplitude Studios' turn-based strategy game Humankind will be coming to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, and Xbox One on November 4th, we also received word of its new DLC, Cultures of Latin America. Any of you Humankind players? Or I've tried it?
I want to play it, but
Same here.
I haven't.
It's one of those. Like, I've never gotten to any of the Civilization games, and I probably never will. It's going to take something like Humankind to get me into it. Like, I just need to play something completely different that hasn't established itself for like 15 years.
Right.
In order to get me into something like that. Because at this point, I'm like, all the systems and all that, like, they're probably so far gone. Like, they're not even thinking about somebody like me anymore.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know if I want to go back and play, like, the first Civilization to try something like that. So... Like that's what I was like with City Skylines. Like I missed out on so many SimCity games.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I always wanted to play those, and I never had a PC, so I just didn't. And then City Skylines comes out, and it's on console and PC, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's my ticket into the SimCity world. That's how I feel about Humankind. So hopefully, by the time I play it, there's not Humankind 5. The original Flashback was released in 1992, and it looks to make a return in winter 2022 with Flashback 2. That's a lot of twos. The original had gameplay similar to Prince of Persia and Another World, and we shouldn't have to wait too much longer for more details on how it will play this year. Did any of you watch any of this Flashback 2 trailer? What are your thoughts?
Looks super interesting, but yeah, that one's might be a little bit not in my wheelhouse.
What was it like? What was the gameplay like? Or what was the premise like?
I'm not sure I know. Just watching what they show, like it
So like those abstract trailers.
It looked like it was an abstract and old looking game. Like I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean that like it looked like it was from another era.
The gameplay in the trailer is kind of obfuscated because it's like kind of like projected onto different like surfaces, so you can kind of tell what's going on, but you kind of also cannot at all. So it looks like kind of like side scrolling type things, and then there's also like a segment where he's on a motorcycle. So I don't really know how it's going to play at all.
It's one of Noah's retro games.
Yeah, that's right.
The fact that you threw in the word obfuscated without like stuttering is impressive. I can't say that word without stuttering.
It's a hard word for sure.
Yeah, to say.
Yeah.
Witchfire was first announced at the Game Awards in 2017, but it has gone mostly quiet since then. Now we've received a brand new look at the first-person shooter game and a promise that it will enter early access in the near future. Are you ready for some Witchfire early access, Noah?
I don't know that I am. I actually not seen the gameplay trailer until right now. But looking at it right now, it does look pretty interesting. It kind of reminds me of like Bulletstorm. And I'm just looking at this right now and spitballing. But yeah, it's like got really cool
There's
abilities.
some Doom in there.
There's like
some
a
Doom
dash.
in there.
Yeah. There's some really cool stuff here. And Bulletstorm is an underrated gem. And anyone who doesn't agree with that,
okay,
you need to go play that game. But yeah, I like the particle effects I'm seeing. I like the impact of the guns. A lot of games don't get the impacts like feel down. Like especially when you're playing on PC. Like Doom 2016 probably isn't the best example, but when you're playing on PC with like a mouse and keyboard and like you don't get the rumble on your controller, playing games like that don't sell the impact, like with the noise and also like the animations, can really not be fun. But this looks like it gets it down.
Nice. Fort Solace is a sci-fi thriller that stars The Last of Us' Troy Baker and Red Dead Redemption 2's Roger Clark, Joel Miller and Arthur Morgan, respectively, for those characters. I haven't watched this trailer. I hadn't had the chance to yet before the recording. Have either of you watched it? And what did you think?
Yeah, it was actually one of my favorite reveals from the entire thing. Just this more... They're going after kind of a Dead Spacey kind of feel for it. So kind of the whole entire theme of the show was space horror. But the coolest thing is just they're looking for that narrative. They're pushing for that narrative. And they've got two veterans of doing a lot of capture work like they're doing in this, in Troy Baker and Roger Clark to be doing this. So that in and of itself to me sells the game. Is I know that I can expect a great performance from these guys, especially considering they are trying to go heavy with the narrative and with the exploration factor.
Yeah, the trailer's like drenched in these deep reds, and it's got like this psychological horror kind of feel also to it. So I'm really excited. The voice acting that we did get to see was really, really well done. Troy Baker, Roger Clark, two like goats in my opinion. So they can do no wrong, except for when Troy Baker tried to do the NFT thing. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm super excited. I feel like I'm saying that a lot about these games, but those
Summer
are the games I'm speaking
Fest.
on. Yeah.
It'd be disappointing if everything sucked. Routine was announced nearly a decade. God, frick, a decade ago already?
I don't even remember this thing getting announced, to be honest with you.
Is it decade? Well, what was that? Oh my God, my brain is failing me right now. What was that game,
brother?
Huh?
It was announced back in 2012.
Yeah. So, well, it was the PlayStation game that finally came out after like 20 billion
Guardian.
years. The Last Guardian.
Trust me, I know. As someone who bought said game.
Did you like it?
Oh yes, I loved it. It's actually one of my favorites.
I was beginning to hear mixed feelings about that when it came out, but anyway.
It will be on the new PlayStation Plus next week.
Oh, there you go. Fantastic. Lovely. Anyway, Routine was announced nearly a decade ago, but that amount of time may not have prepared us for the horrifying look at its gameplay. That looks like a mix between Alien Isolation and the Terminator. It's a fascinating combination. Have either of you two watched the trailer?
It looked like Five Nights at Freddy's animatrons in space, and it creeped me out to all get outs. So I'm like, no. That's a hard no, dog. As Randy Jackson said on American Idol, that's a no for me, dog.
That makes me think somebody. I'm not a horror person, so
same.
Horror fans would probably find this more enjoyable, but somebody should make a Chuck E. Cheese animatronics horror game. Have you? Am I dating myself? Don't tell me you haven't seen the Chuck E. Cheese.
No, like just straight up Chuck E. Cheese, like licensing, or are we talking about?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, absolutely. Those things are horrifying. Have you seen them? Go Google them when you have the chance.
No, yeah, I've seen them.
How terrifying they
look. I
had
birthday parties like 3 years in a row at Chuck E. Cheese when I was like 3. But like acknowledging that Five Nights at Freddy's exists, we need a Chuck E. Cheese one also.
I just had the idea. I'm not saying it was a good idea. I needed to put that out there because the Chuck E. Cheese animatronics are terrifying.
I think it would be great. I think also like a real life like haunted house type thing at a Chuck E. Cheese that like is no longer Chuck E. Cheese would be amazing.
That would be amazing. Make it an escape room and make the animatronics move.
Y'all crazy.
I can propose these ideas because I will never do them. Frost Giant, a studio consisting of ex-Blizzard staff, has unveiled their new post-apocalypse RTS Stormgate. While we only saw a cinematic trailer, it did show an archaeologist crafting an ancient shield from artifacts before she was rudely interrupted by a giant demon. Luckily, a mech-clad ally swoops in to save the day. Stormgate will have a beta in 2023, and it will be free to play when it is released. I am not an RTS person. I micromanage. I spent like the first half of my life like micromanaging everything in my life, but I could never micromanage to that degree. I cannot do it. But I'm willing to give this a chance. I know StarCraft is the RTS of RTSs, and these guys came from Blizzard, working on RTS. It's free to play. I don't have to actually put any money into it. Why not give it a shot? This is exactly what Stormgate is for people like me who would not give RTS time of day. It looks interesting. I do think it looks interesting. I've never understood the story elements of any RTS, or why you would include that, but it looks interesting. I hope it's good. David, what are your thoughts?
Honestly, I don't have a lot of thoughts, but it looks neat. That's really the most I can say with it, especially since we didn't really see any gameplay and just saw a couple screenshots.
Yeah, my thoughts are, I think the mech person at the end of the video is voiced by Mara Juno, the new voice of Ikora Rey in Destiny. So that was exciting because it sounded like her. It sounded like her, like, to a T. So that's exciting. RTSs, I haven't played one since like Command and Conquer on like my uncle's laptop in like 2004, and I was 5 years old and I had no idea what I was doing. So we'll see if I hop into this one.
That reminds me of the time I was almost turned off of RPGs when I played Dragon Warrior when I was 7 years old, and I'd spend my life playing Commodore 64 action games and whatnot and arcade games, and I start playing a turn-based RPG. I pop it into my Nintendo. I don't know what this game is. My brother brought it, and all of a sudden I'm in a fight against the slime, and I have no idea what's going on. I don't know what these fight item run stuff is. I'm like, why am I not moving? Where's my character? I see the screen turn red every once in a while. I'm like, what is going on? I don't know what to do. I turned it off and never play an RPG until Pokemon. So, but that's when I finally figured out what an RPG was. I was like, oh, Dragon Warrior is an RPG. Okay, maybe I could go back and give it a chance. Now that I know what an RPG is. So, I hope that's not your traumatic experience similar to Command and Conquer with RTS.
Yeah, no. I don't know if we have time, but like Fallout 3 was mine. It was like my uncle had it on his PS3, and he's like a Call of Duty guy, and he only plays Call of Duty, nothing else. And like I was like, what is this game? And then I put it in and I played it, and I was like, dang, this is like really interesting. And then I got out of the vault, and I was like, I have no idea what to do. I can't play this game anymore. I'm taking it out. But it planted a seed in my mind, and now I'm playing Fallout New Vegas again for like the third time right now, currently.
So you had a better effect than I did. So that's good. Before you go check, there is no Goat Simulator 2, according to IGN. But that didn't stop Goat Simulator 3 from being announced with a Dead Island 2 parody trailer.
Oh my gosh.
It was so brilliant. And the fact
truly,
that it ended with Goat Simulator 3, I was like, there's no 2. Like, how did they get to 3? I was like,
that's why I was so confused while I was
are they
sitting
shadow
there on
dropping 2?
Wait, when did 2 come out?
I was like, time out. Why is there a Goat Simulator 3 and there's no 2? When did that happen? What they're actually going to do is drop Goat Simulator 2 and 3 at the same time. I don't know. That's not confirmed. We didn't see any gameplay, but it looks to feature all the wild antics from gaming's favorite goats once again. And Noah keeps putting this in the horror category. I don't know why. There's nothing horrifying about this. In fact, it was hysterical. But Noah, how are you feeling about a little Goat Simulator 3?
The Dead Island 2 gives you the horror. You know, the Dead Island 2 vibes gives you the horror.
Dead Island's not even like a horror game. It's like a just walk through and shoot stuff.
That's true.
It's like the Warrior. It's like the Warriors games where you just hit a bunch of enemies, except you're doing it to zombies in shooting fashion. That's the vibe I get from it.
You got to think about it from the human perspective. It's terrifying. So. Yeah, it looks really exciting. I never played Goat Simulator 1, but this is getting me excited. I have to catch up on the first 2. And the other thing is that like the logo at the end, like when it says Goat Simulator 3, I don't know why it evokes Fallout 3 logo for me.
It did.
Like,
no,
because the O has the goat. Yeah.
Sure did. Yes.
So that's really exciting. I'm pumped for it.
Me too. I haven't played the original Goat Simulator, but I've always wanted to. I think I own it on Xbox, so I just need to play it. It's just one of those games. Before I play Goat Simulator 3, I need to play 1, and then somebody just needs to make 2 just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
Like, just as, like, comedy. Not even the original developers. Like, somebody just needs to make Goat Simulator 2 just for the heck of it.
Yeah.
I am just excited. This game is not going to be held back at all by last gen. This is your next gen experience,
Yes.
people. It is only PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. You're going to be able to do everything. No, I'm
Yes.
honestly like I thought the other one was fun, but my word, I will play it for the sheer sake that they made one of the best trailers of all time. I am not kidding. Like this, it's just fan flippin' tastic. And I absolutely love the fact that they paired. Like I actually kind of sat there for a second, like, wait, I know this isn't Dead Island 2. Did they change the art style? Like I just couldn't figure it out. And then the goats started, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is Goat Simulator. But the fact that once again they did that, they're sticking with their insanity that they have, and it's 4-player co-op.
Yeah, that's gonna be insane. So all of us here plus one
Yes,
can simulate goats together,
we'll
and we can
make Ron
simulate.
join in.
Yeah, and we can simulate goats at the highest fidelity possible, because that's the only way to simulate goats.
As one should.
Warhammer 40k Darktide received an extended gameplay trailer at Summer Game Fest that showed off more of the sci-fi follow-up to Warhammer Vermintide. Any Warhammer fans here? Players?
I'm not, but it looks it's an FPS, so I'm automatically intrigued.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. I've never played a Warhammer, never been interested in playing Warhammer, but it's first person.
They're also different, I guess, is the thing, because some are RTS. I know they've mainly been RTSs, if I'm not mistaken, and then this one they've had a couple of FPSs, and this is another one, and then you've got, of course, the Space Marine, which is the third person and Gears of War style one. So this one, I think with Warhammer for me, it's always been just the setting is so cool. Like it's fantasy, but set in like a space age kind of thing with a lot of the Warhammer ones. So that's always been kind of like you've got the it's almost Dungeons and Dragons in space pretty much. You've got the mage, you've got the paladin, I guess, or whatnot. They showed like a big troll kind of character, giant, whatnot, fighting and stuff. So it just sounds fun. And my biggest question: does it have a slide button?
No,
because that's my question with every FPS.
Despite not featuring much gameplay, we did get a good look at the upcoming One Piece Odyssey game starring Monkey D. Luffy and many of the favorites from the anime. Any One Piece people here?
I am not in the slightest.
Okay, so neither am I. But I wanted to say this. I was watching this trailer, and I was in Jeff Gerstmann's chat at the time, and I know I'm onto something, because moments later, the thought I had is what he said. And the thought I had when I watched this, did you all watch the trailer at least?
I did watch it, yeah.
Okay, Noah, did you watch it? Okay, you did watch it. Okay. I had the thought, man, this looks like it should be Skies of Arcadia. Later, Jeff Gerstmann said, man, this looks like Skies. It wasn't the exact words, but we both had the thought, Skies of Arcadia. The vibe, the look, the art style, all that. Forget One Piece. I want Skies of Arcadia done the way One Piece looks. That's what I got out of watching the One Piece trailer. I don't even care about One Piece. I want Skies of Arcadia looking like that. Don't tell me you guys didn't play Skies of Arcadia either.
I have no idea what Skies of Arcadia is.
I'm it's a very good RPG.
Oh, okay.
Those who can't get enough of Genshin Impact will be happy to know Hoyoverse has just shared more of Honkai, I forget how to say it, Honkai Star Rail and Zenless Zone Zero. Both of these are probably going to be gacha games, and both of them look really good, even though they kind of like meld into each other because they look kind of so similar. But especially Zenless Zone Zero, which is a stupid name, but man, that game looks good. You two have any interest in any of these two?
I played Genshin when it launched, and I had fun with it for a good amount of time. And honestly, I could probably pick it up and play it again. So I'm probably gonna pick these up when they come out and try them out. At least I like their art style. They know to make beautiful looking games.
They do.
The art
They
style
do.
is definitely fantastic. Like I have to say, I'm not interested in it, but it looks fun enough. Like they've done such a good job with trailering these games that I want to try them.
All right, Nightingale is an upcoming survival game from Arian Flynn, and Inflection and Summer Game Fest gave fans an extended look at the game in action. Nightingale, thoughts? We're getting close to the end, and I feel like this is where we fell off.
Yeah, I know Ron, our editor-in-chief, cannot wait for this because he's a big Survivor game buff, and then just the style just is perfect for what he likes. It looks really neat. It actually, if all that we saw is real gameplay, it looks really clean and crisp too. Like everything has a really great just shine to it. So they are certainly capturing their audience with everything they're showing.
Noah, should we just move on?
I'm just gonna say real quick, the enemy design looks really interesting. They look really like crazy and like kind of blended with like wild and fantasy type things. So that's cool.
Very nice. Metal Hellsinger received a new gameplay trailer and showed off more of the music-based rhythm shooter that has music from such heavy metal legends as System of a Down. I've wanted to play BPM.
Mm-hmm.
I love music. Drummer for 20-something years. So
hey, I'm a drummer. How have we not talked about this?
Because I didn't know you were a drummer. You didn't know I was a drummer. That's usually how conversations don't start. So great. We'll talk about that later. So I love the idea of rhythm-based game. There was an indie game, 2008, 9 called Beat Buddy. Cool concept. Didn't really execute. Rhythm-based stuff that's not, Rock Band, Guitar Hero. Hard to pull off. BPM looked like it pulled it off, but it also looked like it was hamstrung by its own gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious to know if Metal Hellsinger is a game that kind of solves that problem. Noah, what are your thoughts?
Yeah,
keep talking because I need to use the restroom.
Okay. So speaking of like rhythm-based games, Soundfall for me was like everything that this isn't in terms of this looks really good compared to Soundfall. And also like comparing it to BPM, like Anthony was talking about, BPM had that filter on it that just made everything reddish orange, and that was not a very appealing look for me. Even though the gameplay itself, like the reloading to the beat and the shooting to the beat, looked really like enticing. I didn't really want to like have to like fight to see what was going on the screen at any point. This game looks like it kind of matches that level of like frenetic action in BPM and like in Doom, while still having that rhythm-based movement and fighting. But I don't know. I feel like it's one of those games where you have to kind of get your hands on it until you know it's good, because it has to feel good. It's great that they have a demo out now because we can try it out now and see if it does feel good. I also like the glory finishers. It is giving me a lot more Doom than BPM did, even though they both had like the same kind of enemies and things like that.
I, being someone who loves music, is very much I was up late and Noah was helping me to get the Modern Warfare thing ready, and what did I do? Share music. This, I'm always interested in things like this. BPM, I have it. I have yet to play it because just have not had the time. This, especially with them having collaborations with like the lead singer, I believe it is, from Trivium and stuff, like I'm always interested in something that incorporates music into it. That's one of the reasons I want to play BPM at some point. So this could perfectly tickle that itch. And the demo, if I'm not mistaken, is up on Steam now. So you can actually go ahead and give it a try, as soon as you watch this episode, find out about it or whatnot. So I honestly probably need to go and just download it, even though I probably will never get to play it.
We're all just so busy. All right, last thing, at least last game announced. I'm gonna skip Warframe. It was just more characters, basically.
Yeah.
But there's, I guess, a new game called American Arcadia, which looks really interesting. Now, I was back in your stream, David, and I couldn't watch it, but the vibe I was getting just from hearing how it was described was Truman Show, and I need to see it. I need to actually watch the trailer because I'm like, how did this game look? Because the way it was, I was like, wow, okay, a game centered around a Truman Show as concept sounds really interesting, and I'm curious to know how they're able to pull that off without making it feel like a, I guess, more abrupt version of what BioShock ended up pulling off at the end. So, David, what are your thoughts when you watched it?
Which pardon me for it, but I'd never watched the Truman Show, so I'd have to go watch it.
It's good.
To know
It's
exactly what you're
good.
referencing.
I'm not even a movie person.
But when you bring up BioShock, I've actually said I actually think I said it on the stream, is BioShock is the original BioShock. When I do a review, a 10, if I'm going to give something a 10 out of 10, one of the first things that comes to my mind is it as good as the original BioShock? Because the original BioShock to me is exactly what I imagine a 10 out of 10 should be.
Okay.
I'm not saying this is a 10 out of 10.
No, yeah.
That being said, though, with what you're bringing up with the ideals of what is behind BioShock and whatnot, you're right. This is just it's kind of one of those where it's the medium doesn't necessarily fit the subject matter.
Okay.
But it works. But you're looking at it and you're like, but this just works for some reason. Like, it doesn't fit when I think about it this way, but it fits. So that's why I'm really intrigued with playing it. Is this whole cartoony 2.5D thing just doesn't seem like the way you'd want to present the subject matter, but it's exactly why it is so unique feeling and looking. So
it baffles you.
Yeah, so that makes it intriguing.
Yeah.
to me, that makes it extra intriguing.
Noah, did you get to watch any of that trailer?
Yeah, I did. I really like the art style. Like, it's like the 50s kind of Art Deco grand style of like making everything like bigger and like more embellished than it is, and I really like that. I feel like that speaks to, like, you know, what this idea is. I love the Truman Show. Like, I could watch that movie over and over again and cry probably every single time. And
it's good.
Yeah, it's so good. And this does give that vibe, like 100%. And I'm excited to see what they do with it. 2.5D, like indie side scrolling type games aren't usually my bag, but like every once in a while a game comes through that's just like, oh, you have to play this. And I think this is going to be that game. It looks really great.
I think one of the other things I said about it on the stream was I will never be upset at having more under 10-hour games to play.
Oh yeah,
that look interesting, because there's so many. All these big AAA games that I want to play, half the time are going to involve me putting 20 to 40 hours into them. I want more bite-sized experiences that I can play in a day or two, and this looks intriguing. And it's probably going to be a lot smaller of an experience. So very excited to get some time with it.
All right. So that was pretty much everything from this. Did I miss anything? I think that was pretty much everything announced at Summer Games Fest today. David, you were there.
Yeah. This is, I mean, besides some of the more commercially kind of style things. Yeah. And obviously, we can't forget The Rock showed up.
We can't.
And
we can forget.
he told us to enjoy our gaming.
Thank you, Dwayne.
I feel that.
I would rather have Zavala tell me that than
Oh, true.
The Rock.
True.
And they could have tied that into the Resident Evil show. It would have been perfect.
Yeah.
That's for tomorrow's Netflix.
Yeah.
Quite possibly. All right. I have an announcement to make. After an hour and a half, I think I killed every bug that was flying around me. So
yeah, there we go.
I don't know what this summer is bringing, but I don't like it. So I found a cockroach yesterday.
Oh no!
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So and then I don't know. I turned on the lights and then all of a sudden, it wasn't like a ton of them, but it was very annoying. Last piece of news. Todd Howard says Bethesda is putting the finishing touches on Starfield. And a Game Pass advertisement says Starfield the release for Starfield is aiming for early 2023. First, we had first half of 2023 for the delay of Starfield and Redfall, but this Game Pass advertisement in the fine print said early 2023 release. That's what they're aiming for. So after hearing Todd Howard mention Bethesda is putting the finishing touches on Starfield, how are you feeling about its release at this moment right now, Noah?
I'm feeling like Todd Howard is gearing up to tell the team, hey, if we allow a few bugs here and there out, that's all right. And that's what putting the finishing touches on the game means. Just means that they're preparing to go gold. And yeah.
I didn't expect that. Keeping it real. I appreciate that. David?
I believe it when I see it, Todd. You already dated the thing once, a year and a half out, and still delayed it because of your mismanagement.
Yeah.
Which I wrote an
I believe it.
I
believe it when I see it. Like, stop putting days on things.
Like
people.
Finishing touches, and we haven't seen any gameplay.
He said it was finishing touches. He didn't put a day on it. He just said they're putting the finishing touches on it.
Yeah. Well, you're implying that it's closing in on being done, along with the whole it's going to be in the first half, and now you're starting to relegate it to the first quarter. Just like it'll get here when it gets here needs to be what's being said.
What he's really saying is we're preparing the day one patch.
Yep.
Yeah.
that's what he's really saying. No, I believe they're putting the finishing touches on it, but I am with you, Noah. What does that actually mean? How much polish are they leaving behind when they say finishing touches? Because when I think finishing touches, I think this thing is not going to be. It's going to be Nintendo polish. How many times do you look at a Nintendo game and man, that game is buggy. Holy frick! That's what you get all the time with Bethesda. So, finishing touches. What does that mean? Did you finally get the last piece of art done? Like, is the frame rate finally where you want it? Like, like I don't really know what that means. We still haven't seen anything. Granted, though, that's what Summer Games Fest is for. Because June 12th, Xbox Bethesda showcase is happening.
Oh yeah.
Now, my question to you two is, if Xbox or Bethesda, both of them, do not show Starfield gameplay, is the entire showcase a failure, David?
It's a tough one. It's a real tough one because I don't, and at least I'll put it in my personal opinion here because
that's what we're here for.
This is my personal opinion. I don't think it will be because you delayed it. If we went through it and you still had the November date on it, I'd have an issue. But I guess you technically could go ahead and say that it is a failure for the sheer sake that Xbox won't have another big show before Starfield is supposed to release in the first half. So in the technical sense, yes, but at least in my mind, no, just because of the fact you could save it for the Game Awards if you wanted to, or your own thing. I do think we'll probably see it. That was one of the reasons I was kind of confused as to delaying it beforehand. Because to me, at least to me, I would be more understanding of, hey, look, here's some cool gameplay. By the way, it's going to take us a little bit longer for the game to come out. It's a little easier for me to digest a delay when I've seen how good it looks, as opposed to, sorry, we're delaying this game that you've never seen that we for some reason dated a year and a half ago. So,
Noah?
Yeah, to answer that first question, I think it will be a failure if they don't bring Starfield gameplay. But also, it could not be a failure if they don't have Starfield gameplay, but they say Avowed is coming September 2022 for some reason. We've been keeping it under wraps. I would be like, okay, I'm down for that. Because honestly, I'm more excited for Obsidian projects. But I do think we will see something Obsidian, like probably Avowed rather than Outer Worlds 2. And that will be a big plus for me. But yeah, it won't be a big show if they don't have Starfield. And then on the gameplay thing, I think they probably will show the gameplay of Starfield, because I think they delayed it, so they might not show it. I feel like they have to show it now, because what are we waiting for? If they're doing the finishing touches, how are we not going to get a gameplay trailer at like this point if Todd Howard is confident enough to say that they're doing finishing touches?
Glad you brought that up. Because what I think is going to happen is that they're going to show something of Starfield, and what they're going to show is them actually doing the finishing touch. No, not really. But I can imagine that, being the case. Like, they are literally working up until the night, overtime, graveyard shifts, all of that. But yeah, I do think the Xbox showcase would be a failure if they didn't show any Starfield gameplay. What are we here for? You're not releasing anything exclusive this year, so at least give us something to look at in the meantime. I would be baffled if they didn't show that. I'd be baffled if they didn't show anything Forza Motorsport 8 related.
There's some interesting rumors that Kojima's going to be there.
Ooh,
cool.
With Norman Reedus at his side.
I've kind of fallen off Kojima. Like, Death Stranding was just not it for me. I didn't know. But yeah, if they don't show anything Avowed related, you got nothing. So at least give us something to look at. That's how I feel. And I'm not saying they have to show like everything that's delayed. I don't expect anything Perfect Dark. That would be weird. Stuff like that.
Yeah, they're under too much right now to show something
right.
Perfect Dark.
Yeah, so I'm not really expecting anything from them, but I feel like Obsidian, Bethesda, Turn 10, they got to show stuff. Even if for Turn 10 it's just a bigger look at the game instead of, the garage look that they showed us the first time. What I'm hoping for, my prediction, and we'll go through the predictions. I'm just moving on to the next topic. My prediction is for the Xbox showcase. We'll just go crazy predictions. My prediction is they're going to show Forza Motorsport 8 and it will have a release date September 2023.
I can agree with that.
That's my prediction. Noah, what's your prediction?
My prediction is in lieu of all the bad press that Bethesda's getting, Todd Howard's going to say, we're making a new Fallout game. No splash screen, no nothing, just we're making a new Fallout game. Because Why not make another empty promise to us, Todd? Why not do it?
Why? No. He needs to announce it and then date it for 2025. That's what he needs to do.
He says, why do you think we've been taking so long on Starfield? We've also been working on Fallout 5.
Fallout 5. Not even 2025, 2024. All right, Noah, what's your prediction for the Xbox Bethesda showcase?
You mean me?
What did I say, Noah? David. Why
We're
do I
having
do
too
that?
much fun. We're forgetting everything.
Yeah.
I don't know why I do that.
My prediction is that Phil Spencer's going to come out on stage and say, "Surprise, buttheads! We moved everybody. We moved half the team from 343 over to finish Starfield, so it's still coming out November 11th of 2022.
Oh,
Suck it!"
That's why Halo Infinite sucks
Also,
right now.
also, Forge is being delayed again.
Sacrifices must be made.
Oh man, no, I had to. That's too funny. No,
I would laugh
honestly,
at that. I'd be okay with that.
Honestly, I really have no idea what to expect from Xbox because there's a lot of interesting rumblings about third-party exclusives that they are working on and stuff. The question is always what a third-party exclusive can be as small as something like a like Death's Door. So you could literally have anything. So I'm very intrigued in the show because it can go so many ways, this show, because there's no specific expectations beyond we'll probably see Starfield gameplay. There's a chance we'll see Redfall there, and most likely Forza is their main exclusive this year. So
here's my stupid prediction, and we'll end here. A Gears of War grounded collaboration set in the form of Starship Troopers. There we go.
Nice.
Ooh.
I've heard rumors on a Gears of War collection similar to the Halo collection. So
yeah, I don't know.
Not what you're saying there, but yeah.
No, that's the added DLC.
Yeah.
give Grounded some love. All right, that is it for us. Breaking it all down.
We were not part-time today, folks.
No, we were not part-time. Neither was the Summer Games Fest, and it continues all month long. Again, the Bethesda Xbox Showcase is happening June 12th. I don't know. Maybe we'll try to squeeze in something after that or something. I don't know. Because you're going on vacation, actually.
Yeah.
So we gotta try to get something in for that, but if possible. But we're part-time, so who knows? Appreciate you watching. Appreciate you listening. And we will talk to you later.